So, Ellie, what part of the writing process would you put in your Room 101?
If it were possible, and I wish it were, I would like to put into Room 101 that really annoying thing I do where I forget the most basic of words mid writing. It's infuriating. People do it all the time, right? It's not just me.
Not just you.
I can't think of an example right now, but it'll be something very obvious. It'll be a word I use in everyday life. Nothing's fantastic, but I can't remember what it is. I tend to, when this happens, I'll like highlight it in Scrivener and add a little comment so that I can just come back to this later and I'll try and haphazardly describe what I'm trying to say, but it still breaks the flow a little bit.
I think what you're doing is much more beneficial to your process though, because it breaks up the flow much less than if you're then going into a search engine and looking at what is the name for this or how do you spell that, because that is very, very disruptive. And you're going from a creative skill then to something which is much more analytical or logical and also just reliant on a search engine rather than your own brain. And it's hard to express how much that breaks up the flow, because it can take you then 20 minutes to get back into that state of flow. So if you've only got 20 minutes to write, you've disrupted that entire writing session.
Exactly. Changing processes like that, I would liken to like writing, you're driving forwards, and then to look up something on Google, you've got to take it into reverse and turn around again and just keep reversing. And then to try and get your brain to go back into gear in the right way, it's not that easy. You can't do it on the flick of a switch. It takes time, not probably 20 minutes to go in and out of reverse, hopefully. But it does take time and it really does break the flow. You can't just keep going as easily. So I just leave a comment and I come back to it, but it's very frustrating. And I would absolutely put that into Room 101 if I could.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact you made a car analogy?
Damn. That's the one thing I never wanted to do.
No, for the record, it doesn't take 20 minutes to switch gears, even in an old car.
It's it just made sense. I just what popped into my head. That really wasn't planned. If I had planned it, I wouldn't have used a car. What would you put into Room 101 in terms of writing process?
I would put reading my own work into Room 101. And this includes proofreading, it includes copy editing, it includes needing to self-edit. Like the actual process of making the changes, for the most part, I don't hate. But actually going through my own work a lot of the time, particularly the more familiar with it I get, the more I hate it. And for me, like I really enjoy the more creative stages when you're planning and plotting and writing and even kind of early edits. But then the more nitpicky the process gets, the more it irritates me. So from that moment that I convert my book into an ebook and then read it on my tablet, that's when my brain starts to see it a little bit differently, and it starts to be much more of an internal battle to force myself to go through it. And I have to do those things because I need to make sure it resembles a book before I send it to beta readers, and obviously before readers get it as well. And that's really hard, but it's such an important part of the process that there is really no way of avoiding it. Because yes, you can outsource copy editing and proofreading if you want to, but you've still got to self-edit even if you outsource editing, because you're going to pay a fucking lot more for editing if you've done a crap job yourself.
Yes, I've heard you. I don't want to say complain. I've heard you whinge many times about.
How is whinge any better than complain?
It's not. I was trying to make out like you're whinging for no reason.
I do that all the time.
Trying to make you sound worse than it is. It's I know it's hard and it's something I'm not looking forward to because I've not enjoyed going through my shorter pieces, let alone having to go through a whole book. I'm not very good at proofreading my own stuff. So I know I'm going to struggle with that. So give it a few more months and I might be moving that to Room 101 as well.